What they do, y'all. What they do.
What's good?
How y'all doing out there? See, we got another guest on, another ace, a part of the collection.
You already know.
Part of the tribe. Hey, introduce yourself, bro.
Man, it's me, Mark. Also go by Unexpected, but it's family, so you know we here.
Yeah. We showing up today, tribe. Aces and Jewels. Welcome back for another spicy one today. Before I get started, I'm gonna let my brother Mark, introduce himself in a formal way, like, tell them what you about, what you do, what I'm saying, so they can know about you, where they can follow you at and all that stuff.
All right. So like I was saying, I'm Mark, aka Unexpected. Do my rap thing. Working on some things right now, trying to get my music back out. We had a little hiccup, as I was saying. Yeah. And yeah. You can follow me on Instagram at Unexpected101. That's UNXPECTED 101. Mm-hmm. And that's really the only platform I use. I don't use Snapchat and Twitter like that no more, man. It consumes your life. If
you out here doing TikTok videos.
Yeah, hey, my wife do all the TikToks.
So. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, yeah, we're back with another one today. We're back with a little spicy one. And, yeah, we're going to get on the topic of marriage, right? So why should what I have is why should you marry? Either you're going to marry for love or to build. Yeah. Right? So, yeah. What they do. This your boy DP.
This your girl T.
And we're the Geminis Gemz, representing for the Geminis across the world, giving our own Miami perspective.
For sure.
So you can follow us on all podcast platforms at Geminis-Gems.
Also follow us on Instagram, Geminis_Gems, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Geminis Gems.
Hey, make sure you like, follow, you comment, and you subscribe. Yes. And make sure when you type it in, it's Geminis with the S, Gems with a Z. And what we do, T?
Drop them gems.
Drop them gems. All right, so we back. So why should we get married, or why should we marry? Should we marry for love, or should we marry to build? So how you feel about that, bro?
So with that, I'm a true believer in marriage.
Because you are married.
Yeah, I am married.
Right.
I am married. But even before marriage, like even when I was young, I always wanted to feel love, right? But after getting married, you have to feel. I've realized that there has to be a foundation. Love can't be the only thing, because that doesn't hold together, as you see in a lot of relationships. Right. So having that foundation that you build off of, that's very important, I feel like, in marriage,
As far as being married, like, you have to have a foundation in being married, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
I put down the original purpose for being married. So back in the day, right, they would get married basically not so much for love. It would be like arranged marriages, right? So two families would say, hey, listen, your daughter, you got a daughter? Yeah, I got a son. You feel me? They're going to get married when they get older for basically financial, economical.
The resources that they can provide. Right,
to each other. So, and to keep it in the family. So nowadays, more modernly, we have, as the ages begin to move forward, we have people that begin to marry because of love, because we have the option. It's not our dads or like the other people dads knew each other and then you gonna marry, like Mark will have a daughter, I will have a son, or vice versa, and we'd be like, listen, we gonna marry into the family.
As soon as they turn 18, we're gonna put them together and they have no choice.
Right. Or I could have an older, you could have an older son, I have a younger daughter, but because we are close and the family needs to have a a particular economic type of status, we have to keep it in the family. You get what I'm saying? Not saying that that's not even now today, but it's not as common.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go on this idea of. So we're gonna talk about building, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of building, and why should you focus on building? And we'll get to the love later, but why should you focus on building in a relationship? Building. Let's start from building in a relationship, right? To get to know each other and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then building, and what is your focus on in a marriage?
All right. So, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, like me and my wife, we've been together it's been 8 years now.
Okay.
7 years married, 8 years together. But I've known.
That's good, bro. I got to drop it.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So, but I've known my wife since 2004. So it's going on 20 years. It's been 18 years since I've known my wife.
That's what's up, bro.
You know, and before we got together, we were friends.
Okay.
So I knew her inside and out, and she knew me inside and out. So,
Right.
I mean, there's things that as friends you may not speak about because
Right.
you're still learning to trust that person fully. But once we got together, there was never any secrets that we didn't share with each other, and we still don't share with each other. You know, we still keep it light. We also keep it when we need to talk about something and it's weighing down on us. That's when that structure that we built takes over, and we're able to work through any issues that we may have at that point in time.
Gotcha.
You know? Instead of just being high off of love and just like, I love this person just because I love this person. No, we know that there's a foundation. It's not just because we have kids together now. It's just because we know what we want and where we want to be and grow together. We don't want to grow apart.
Right.
So,
let me ask you this while you in thought. So what are some of your, let's say, not contributing factors, but what are your layers in building? When you was building with your wife, what were some of the layers that y'all began to put together or stack together in order to build the foundation?
well, first layer was friendship.
Okay.
First layer was us being friends. The second layer was learning to trust.
Okay.
And that's a big layer. That is a big layer. Learning to trust somebody that's not yourself.
Right.
That became a focal of me and my wife together.
Okay.
Like, I trust her with my life just like I know she trusts me with her life.
That's what's up.
You know, and I would say the third layer would be intimacy.
Okay.
Being intimate not only sexually but mentally and physically and emotionally. Being there for that person at any given time is what I call to be important as far as the building layers for us to be and stay in love.
That's what's up, bro. I like that. Actually, I put down balance somewhere on my notes, right? So basically in relationship, I put one of the contributing factors would be balance. And in balance, you have the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, the socializing, you have to be sociable. And I think, and I put emotions as well. So we have to have a balance in order to maintain.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So basically you just brought that out in your way with the intimacy, not just physically, but also mentally, emotionally. You get what I'm saying? So I'm in concurrence with you. I want you to keep going. Keep going. What else?
So
what else building elements that you can think of? So you already laid the foundation. So I know there's always a continual, you get what I'm saying, process.
So even when I was a kid, my uncle used to tell me, like, he used to ask me questions like, hey, what do you want right now? And I'll answer it. Like, be a 14-year-old kid, and he'll be like, I'll answer it as a 14-year-old kid. He's like, look, in 5 or 6 years, that's not going to mean anything. And I was like, I'm still going to want that, right?
Right.
But that's a thing in marriage. Like I said, me and my wife been together 8 years in total, right?
Right.
Every 4 to 5 years, a person changes.
I agree.
you know, and they grow. I gotta.
You just dropped. So yeah,
a person changes, and they're. It's not saying that they're not the same person,
right?
But they've grown, and now you got to learn that person again.
Right.
That's the continuance of it. You always have to learn, and you always have to learn the new person that your spouse is becoming.
Okay.
Me and my wife, we've done like couples retreats before.
Okay.
And there's a thing called the 5 love languages.
Right.
And what I figured out is, as a building foundation too, as people, as human beings, as individuals, when we portray love to another person, we give love to the other person how we want to receive love.
Right.
We don't love the person how they would want to receive.
Right.
And that's a big thing. And that's one of my things right there that me and my wife harp on. I try to give my wife what she wants instead of what I want.
Right. And in that, did you ask questions?
Oh yes. So we've actually read the book, The 5 Love Languages.
Okay.
So we've actually read that book
together.
Well, separately but together.
Right.
We learned it together.
Right.
And
so it's basically like an assignment when y'all go to the.
Well, nah, that was in the beginning. Like that was again towards the building blocks.
Gotcha.
Of us getting to where we are now and how we can still be strong together.
Right. Instead
of being a weakened bridge, I guess, that you have to cross.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I get what you said.
So, because
you dropping them, bro. Yeah, keep going.
Because it's like, don't get me wrong. Me and my wife, we have ups and downs.
Of course.
But that's the love of my life, and I'll do anything for her.
Right.
You know?
That's what's up.
And
okay, so because you brought up the differences that can transpire during. So I had wrote down, what about 50-50? You know how some people believe in, well, because I'm going to go more modern now. Traditionally, we already know the man will go out and work, right? The woman would stay home and basically take care of the kids, cook, clean. But nowadays, we have a modern woman where she works now, and she makes her money. The man also. Somebody got to, take care of the kids and stuff like that. So how do you feel about this 50-50, or what is the percentage contribution towards a relationship, marriage? So
just to give it to you like this, there's no such thing as 50-50 in a marriage.
I agree.
It's 100%.
Listen, I don't wrote that down and all, just in case you had the other answer, but I love it.
It's 100%. So, like I said, people are always growing, right? So, if my wife's giving 70% and I'm giving 30%, that still equals 100.
Right.
But vice versa. Let's say we grow and now she's more, like you said, she's working more now. So that 70 that she was giving, now she's only able to give 20 because she put more responsibility on herself, let's say, right?
Right.
I have to be there to pick up that 80. So we always have to be at 100. There's no such thing as 50-50 because nobody can do what the other person is doing. And if you put a expectation on it like that, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay. You want to grow and learn, so I'm my wife's strength when she's weak, and my wife is my strength when I'm weak.
That's what's up.
So when I'm up,
boy, you out here dropping them, man. Keep going, bro.
When I'm up, if she's down, I lift her up.
Right.
When she's up, if I'm down, she lifts me up.
Right.
You know, and that's the way it is. My wife is my partner in everything. So okay. I don't look at my wife as being just an object or just my wife. Right. No, my wife is my soulmate. My wife is my real. My wife is everything that I was missing before I got with her.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's nice. So I'm gonna ask you another one. Well, I told you I'm gonna keep coming.
Yeah, keep them coming.
So you mentioned something else about you didn't say privacy, but I interpret it as privacy, keeping people out of your business.
Yes.
Right. So how do you feel when it comes down to sharing information that goes on in the house on the outside?
All right. With that, it's all about again, trust, right? So everybody needs somebody to vent to also.
Outside? Okay.
Because if you're having issues within inside of your marriage, and the only people that you talk to is yourself and your partner,
and the kids and the dog, in the bedroom.
But I'm just saying, if you do,
I get what you're saying, bro.
If you're doing that, there's no bias. I mean, there's always a bias. Excuse me. There's always a bias. The husband may think he's right all the time, or the wife may think they're right all the time.
True.
So if you get an outside, not influencer, but outside trustworthy friend that you know you can maybe talk to, because they're not picking sides. They want to see y'all
flourish. Yeah,
they want to see you grow and be bigger than what you are and come out the situation. Then I mean, I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with doing that, as long as that person has the best interest into your relationship, into your marriage, or even seeking, if it's bad enough, even just seeking counseling from a professional. So
how often would you think someone needs to seek counsel, or how many times do you think you all need to have the couples retreat, or let's say just reconcile whatever differences that transpired throughout the marriage?
That's a little touchy, because every situation can be different.
Facts.
So you can I mean, if it's beginning, if you're seeing yourself not wanting to be around your spouse, that's when I would say start seeking counseling.
Okay.
Like if you're coming home and you're like, oh, let me go back out to the store real quick. You know?
That's wild. You don't even want to go home.
Yeah, if you're seeing yourself like that, and you know you don't want to leave that person,
right? Go
seek help. It's okay. Like, a lot of people look at counseling or going into that type of help as being weak or being invasive of privacy, as you were saying. But sometimes you need that in order to grow and build again. Right. Because you got to realize that foundation that you built may have been weakened by a storm. Right. Now you need a construction worker to come in and mend it, right, so it can become strong again, right, and that's all that is. Right, I agree. You know what I thought about as you were talking was the corona when it first came in, and how, you know, the people that was literally skipping out on coming home was going, you know, wherever they was going throughout the day. Yeah, and corona stopped that. You get what I'm saying? COVID stopped that from even happening. So now they had to deal with, you know, that individual. Yeah. Deal with the, you know, what they was avoiding for so long. So that's why I'm asking, how often do you think, you know, people should be visiting this? I mean, this table of like confessions, or, you know, between you guys itself, y'all should. I feel like it should be done. I won't say y'all. I should feel like it should be done at least a couple times a month, and not only with outside, because you got to realize outside is if it gets bad. So if you're going to seek counseling, that's because it's in a bad spot. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, so, but you can have counseling within your own marriage, within your home. If everything feels like it's going good, y'all just sit down and have a conversation every now and again. Yeah, I remember T had brought up one of her friends. They were literally, I don't think she said once a month, but I think it was like every second Friday, every 2 Fridays or something, like twice a month. So they were talking about how often they would just have conversations about their situation, whether it was good or bad. So if they had a good week, they had the good 2 weeks, they'll talk about the good 2 weeks, you know. And so that's why I always concur, like, that meeting at the table should be at least once a week. You get what I'm saying? So you can kind of know what that individual is mentally, emotionally, you get what I'm saying, as well as every other aspect of a relationship. And I'm talking about, from my perspective, I'm talking about relationships. I brought you on because we were talking. Exactly. So I know my lane. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just staying in my lane. But I refer to relationships as Mark, you know, he refers to marriages. So one more thing to touch on with the building aspect of being in marriage is again learning from each other, right?
Right.
But also being able to have your partner and encourage either to start a business together or individually.
Okay.
Like my wife has always been on my side when I said I wanted to start a record label out of nothing. So I did it, and she was there with me. She didn't understand a lot at first, but she was there by my side to learn, soak in, and with influences from like social media and things like that. It also encouraged her to start her own business. So now we're going to be entrepreneurs together instead of just relying on a 9-to-5.
Right.
And I believe inside of marriage, that's one thing. Financial freedom is what you strive for.
Okay.
You know, so that's basically the last piece of the building
factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. I definitely concur with the idea of building financial freedom far as starting something. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then growing from there. And then what tends to happen is you'll find more intimacy, how you mentioned.
Yes.
Right? In the process of building, because now you begin to learn a person's, let's say, technical skills. You get what I'm saying? How they're strategically planning different like accomplishments.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Over time. So I definitely concur with it, because I would love to start a business with mine, you know, and then her and I can just blossom from there. And then we have many sources of income, because most girls, especially nowadays, they don't really want to work, but they know they have to, or they know they want to. You know, whatever, however like, that cookie crumbles.
That's how my wife is. Like, I told her, like, to be honest, the first couple years of our marriage, she didn't work. I told her she didn't have to.
Right.
But she loves to work. She loves to move around. She doesn't like to be stagnant. Right. She likes to be up and about. So that's the reason that she works now. But other than that, she could be at home.
Right. And then even from there, at home doing something that can build. Yeah. You know, and then as it's building, you're attacking the other, let's say, 40% of what contributing, you know, financially towards the bills and stuff like that. And then she's contributing her 60%. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And then it adds up, like how you said,
to 100.
Right. So I get that. Now we can talk about the love aspect. I guess I haven't wrote that much, because I feel like people understand what love is, and everybody has their interpretation of it. But love to me is an action word. Yeah. I would rather a person love me over being loyal, because I feel like loyalty comes with a condition. You get what I'm saying? But love to me is something that is unconditional. You're going to love me when it rains, when it storms, when it's sunshine. You get what I'm saying? Through all the test of time, she's going to be there loving me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Now, the only thing is that there's a misconception between love and lust.
Just keep it coming, bro. Just keep it coming.
So there's that misconception. So people feel like they're in love because of like what you say, that kind of reaches into what you said with loyalty. Right. People think that they're in love because somebody does something for them. And that doesn't equivalent or equate to love. Right. Because as soon as that person stops doing whatever they're doing for you, you no longer have feelings for them.
Based upon condition.
Yeah, that's what you said. That's what falls into that little loyalty category. Right. But if you love somebody, then you wouldn't allow what they stop doing or what they can't do no more to affect.
Speak on that, bro.
Yeah, you won't allow that to affect the way you feel about that person.
Right. So I want to say this, because you mentioned lust.
Yes.
Lust to me is a blinder right?
Yeah.
So you hear a lot of these, and we heard this when we were growing up, right? Girls would get with this guy because he looked a certain way, he was driving certain cars, this, that, and the third, and then later on, after 2 babies,
they no longer want them.
not just that, but he was abusive.
Oh, yes.
He was a cheater.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? He didn't even come home at night.
Speak on that, yes.
You get what I'm saying? And then now the lust has really dropped. It faded away. Now you see the person for who it is. So now, when other girls are, oh, he this, he's that, she's like, yeah, right. And this guy is none of that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So then that's why I say lust is a blinder.
Yeah, you're right about that, because in the essence of lust, when male or female, when a woman or a man thinks that they're in love and it's really a lust factor, they ignore those red flags that are constantly put in front of them.
Drop them, bro. Let's go.
They ignore it. So be with somebody and a week into it, they yell at you. You ignore that because you feel like you love them.
True.
2 months, 3 months later down the line, they don't open doors for you now because they're mad at you. Or or a woman doesn't cook for you because she's upset.
Right.
So you ignore those factors that were in the beginning because you're in that lust, the blinder, which feels like love. Right. Lust definitely feels like love.
It does. I agree.
I've been there before.
Me too.
Yeah. Been there before. But when you ignore those facts, when you ignore those red flags, and I see, I mean, it's been a lot of changes lately because, social media is the death of everything, but it's also a life of a lot of things.
Facts.
Because it also allows you to see what other people are going through and how certain things they're not going to tolerate. Right. I'm not going to tolerate you verbally abusing me. If it's a woman verbally abusing a man, the man's not going to tolerate that no more.
No more. Right.
If it's a woman being physically abused by a man, a woman's not going to tolerate that no more, because now they have a open field view that's not a movie. Right. It's actual people's lives. So now it doesn't become fiction anymore, it becomes reality. Right. So, yeah.
Bro, you gonna fill up the bowl, bro. Keep dropping them down.
That's the lyricism in me right there.
Right. That's just how it goes.
But no, it's because of outside influences that allow you to have self-confidence now. Right. Sometimes inside of households growing up, when we were growing up, we weren't allowed to talk back. Right. We weren't allowed to have an opinion as kids or anything like that. But now people are seeing that it's okay to have an opinion and it's okay to not go with the flow. So that lust factor that was blinding everybody before, you couldn't see it because it was always like we were talking about, even with the building, keeping people out of your business. Right. A lot of that is no longer the situation, because even if you're keeping it out of your business, keeping people out of your business, other people can now view you
and be in your
business because of the way that it can be recorded and things like that. So now with that being said, I think, this is just a thought, but I think that's why women and men on both sides are standing up for the inconsistencies that were in relationships and marriages. Okay. That's why they're standing against it now, because they can no longer keep everybody out. Right. So
okay, so I'm gonna jump in now. I'm gonna try to carry that load you just dropped. You get what I'm saying? But with social media, I think it's knowledge. Yeah. It's a lot of knowledge nowadays to inform individuals of what's going on. Now, yes, social media to me at the same time does build a false reality to make it seem that it is going well, right, when it's flawed. Like I think London, Laura London with Nipsey. Yes. she came out and was saying there are some difficulties within her dynamic when she was with Nipsey. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then us looking from the outside and we
It looked
saw
like it was a perfect marriage.
Come on, man.
You're right.
Look like that thing was peachy,
You right.
spotless clean. But then there was flaws because it still, social media still can build a false reality, but it still gives individual hopes that they can find this
Type of love.
right. You get what I'm saying? And to move further forward, it's a role as important than yours. So I'm not going to, like I say, I think everybody knows about love, right? So I want to ask a little bit more deeper questions.
Okay.
Right. So this is why I have this question coming up.
All right.
So is her role as important than yours?
Every role is important.
Right.
So there's no role that is more important than the other.
Okay.
I grew up in a household where by the time I was 10 years old, my family split. You know,
Okay.
I was with my mother, and my father he was there, but he wasn't there. You
Gotcha.
know? But I never wanted to do that for my kids, so I always wanted my kids to be in a 2-parent household, no
Right.
matter how hard it may seem, or as long as it wasn't so toxic where I can't, where it's physical abuse or mental and verbal abuse, and it starts to rub off on the kids, because that's a lot that a kid has to take on too. I mean, us as parents, being in a marriage, we also have to realize that once we have kids, they see and hear everything.
Everything.
Even when you think you're locking the door and having a private moment,
Yep.
they see and hear everything.
Right.
I also think that it's okay for your kids to see arguments that don't go overboard.
Right.
Because it teaches them how to deal with a disagreement and to get over it and move forward past it.
That's just something I just explained to my son. That I have him for the summer, and that's exactly what we're working on. We dealing with a situation. Yeah, we have to deal with it. We have to get through it, and we have to just get over it. It's the transitionings that he has to work on, and I'm showing him, hey, I understand you're upset about this. You may not agree, but we have to get through this, or we got to get over it. You got to get through it to get over it.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I agree. To go back to the question, I do agree with the roles. Like, her role is as important as mine. So, right. I'm gonna try to get to the next thing. So as it is important, I do believe that the man has to step up to the plate to show that, hey, listen, you are important in this relationship.
Yes.
As well as the wife, which she should step up to the plate and say, hey, listen, your idea was great. You get what I'm saying? But we should function this way.
You know what it is?
I'm listening.
It's just showing appreciation for one another.
Right.
It's valuing and respecting each other's opinion.
I love it.
It's just being able to be that husband and wife that you want. So that's all it is when you say being as important, it's just the value. It's how much do you value your marriage or your relationship? How much do you value it? Do you value it where it's only your thought and their opinion doesn't even matter? Because two opinions can formulate something that's even greater than what one person was thinking.
Right.
That's why you bounce ideas off of each other. That's why
I love that.
There's no such thing as right or wrong in a marriage.
Okay.
It's only you and her, it's you and your spouse. Let me say that.
Okay. Because I always say it like this. It's like let's say we're trying to get to a destination, and I think two heads is better than one, and we could not use,
There you go.
let's say, GPS.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to get to this destination, I always like think of this, like that. She grabs the mic. She grabs the map, and I'm driving, and she's telling me, "Hey, listen, babe, you need to take this route," and it can help us get there instead of me. No, let me get the map.
Yeah, and then trying to drive
And
with it
still
in front. Yeah.
Come on, bro. How can we accomplish anything?
If you don't trust each other,
Right.
if you don't value the other person, you gotta
going back to your foundation.
how that can be said is learning to be led blind.
Okay.
So check this out. This is just something that I just thought about right now. Try this the next time you're in a relationship, or if you're married, you're with your spouse. In the middle of your room, or in the crowded area, or in your house, or anywhere, close your eyes and let your spouse lead you to a place in the kitchen. Let's say you're in the living room. Let your spouse lead you with your eyes closed to the kitchen.
Okay.
And see how much you trust that person.
Right. And that's a tester right there.
Yeah.
To see whether or not this person will, because some people, they messy. They'll let you walk into or let you hit your feet against, because with that shows that she has to pay attention to everything. He has to pay attention to everything to make sure that you don't get injured.
But that's a good building foundation.
Right. So you won't get injured at any point.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go a little bit not dark, but I'm gonna just be, let's say, I'm gonna think outside of the box, or think the reason why men, or put this out there, the reason why men feel like me, I don't feel comfortable right now in this atmosphere to get married.
I understand.
You get what I'm saying? Because most of the girls are for the streets.
And, hey.
So in your search or finding a suitable mate, right? What qualities to make you know for sure? Because nothing is certain, right? We already know that. So since nothing is certain, but we know that this is what we want. Like, for example, I do want to be married, right? But then it's really hard to navigate that.
So, in my journey through it, you've known me 20
over that.
Yeah, 20 plus years now.
Because we've been out of school more than
So you've known me basically half of my life.
Right.
So in the parts that you've known, you've seen some of the women that I've dated.
Yeah, no doubt.
You've known some of the situations I've been in.
Yes.
So the journey is being able to look at where you are, learn what you don't want to accept, and accept what you can't change.
Okay.
So I know I didn't want a woman that didn't appreciate me.
Okay.
I know I didn't want that.
Right.
So when I was with certain women, I'm not going to say names.
Of course.
When I was with certain women when I was younger,
right,
and I didn't feel appreciated, I didn't leave the situation right away, because you got to learn to adapt to that. But once I saw that there was never going to be a change in that,
you let it go.
Exit stage left.
Yep.
I learned to accept what I didn't want and move away from that.
Right.
And also, I learned that a woman is going to bring not only herself to the situation, she's going to want to bring me up. She's going to want to lift me.
That's what's up.
And that's what I looked for in women, so that's why even in past relationships, when I was down, some of these women they picked me up and brought me out of a space. But like they say, some people are there for a reason, some people are there for a season.
Right.
And those women there, I know now that they were just there for a season. Not saying that all of them were bad, even though I had a couple. but they were there for that season to pick me out of that so I can learn from that to get me ready
for the
wife that I have now.
Right.
For my wife, man. My wife, Latanya, that's my baby.
Right.
You know, so I knew that maneuvering through that, and I'm gonna say the hard thing. Your wife or your spouse, to be honest, is your best friend.
Okay.
My wife, we were friends for 10 years, but my wife knew everything. I told my wife about the relationships I had. Mm-hmm. I told my wife about the ups and downs I had, whether I was right or wrong. Right. She didn't, she told me when I was wrong in situations. She told me when she felt like I was right. But this was when we were friends. We were strictly platonic, and we didn't do anything. We didn't even kiss. Like, she would come over to my house. We would chill, and that's the way it was. And it took me, because I've always had a crush on her, right? Mm-hmm. But it took me building up my courage because I didn't feel like I was worthy to be with her at that time. Because I knew a lot about her too. I knew about her relationship. She told me about ups and downs and good and bad and all of that. But it took me to build up my courage to be able to ask her, even for a date. And once she said, yeah, we never looked back.
It went on from there.
Yeah, it went on from there. So navigating yourself through the streets is through the like you say, to the ones that's in the streets.
Right.
That's for the streets. For the streets. To the ones that's for the streets, to maneuver through it. You just have to learn to see the red flags when they're there, and to learn what you're going to accept and what you won't.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Now, let me see if I got anything else, because I think you could drop the mic on that one, and then we good, right? But so another reason why too, because I looked up, basically marriages are down. 72%. I had looked up the stats earlier. It's 72% from 1960. Yeah. In comparison to back then, we understand back then probably more of a purpose. Now we are more independent. Especially women. Yeah. So but looking at the atmosphere and what you have seen from your friends outside of, me and, the clique, but then everyone else, what have you seen that may be a little bit different from your relationship out here in the world for why the decrease in marriages?
I have several friends that are like family now, also, that I've met while I've been in the military. Okay. And they're married couples, and I have a side that is flourishing, and I have a side that is teetering. Okay. The reason I see is a lot of times it's because people become stagnant. They forget how to date their spouse. They forget that their spouse is the most important person to them. That's the side that's teetering. They forget that what brought them to love in the beginning, they no longer doing it. Okay. And then on the vice versa side, even still on that teetering, when that happens, spouses may think that the grass is greener on the other side. Right. They jump the fence and figured out that it's all weeds. It's green, but it's all weeds. Right.
Or it was just painted. Yeah. Or it was artificial.
Yeah, it was turf.
Right.
And under that is nothing but dirt.
Right.
But and I've seen that side also. And when you realize when those are starting to realize that, hey, I have the best, or I had the best situation, that's when those gears starting to go back, and now instead of teetering, you're back on that stronger side. Then I also have a strong side of people that I hang with, and I know you probably seen it. My wife be posting all the time about how we travel and everything like that. We have a traveling family that we go out with, and they're doing things together, and that togetherness is what's keeping the foundation as strong as it is within the marriages. And they never forgot how to date. They never forgot that the importance of us being out together and just being kids at times.
That's what's up.
And we all got kids.
Yeah.
But just being kids at time and having that puppy love effect again, and just being out in different spaces where it's not just your four walls in your home.
Right.
Being out and about, being able to also be out with other families or other couples and seeing how they interact allows you to become stronger too, because you're like, I want that. If you weren't getting it, or I'm missing that, and you learn from each other.
Like what making it happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. Go ahead, keep going.
No, I'm just saying, it's that foundation being. That's why, for example, like being married, you always kind of want to have married friends too. Reason being is because you learn from each other.
Okay.
You know, in a single person's life, unless they're in a very committed relationship, there's nothing that you're really going to learn in a marriage type of situation. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to tear you down, right? But they're not going to help you build either, right? And when you're around like-minded people, that's when everything becomes stronger. That's thing in business too. You hang around a millionaire long enough, I bet you'll be one.
Yep. With no pressure.
Yeah.
I got you. So before we end, you have any final words? I'm looking at my notes, see if I got anything else. I think basically I hit everything that I possibly wanted to ask. Yeah. Make sure you all dial in. Well, not dial in, but put in the description below any comments, questions that you all may have, and you can reach out to Mark. So any final words that you want to put out there as far as why should we marry, or should we marry for love?
So my final words is, it's your life. Do what makes you happy. If you're marrying for love, make that the strongest love you can have. If you're marrying to build the strongest house that you can. That's all I can say. Okay,
that's what's up. So I'm your boy DP. This was dog Mark. This is my ace Mark.
Yes, sir.
and we Gemini Gems. That's Geminis with the S, Gems with the Z. And what we do, we drop them gems. Get my gems right. All right, y'all. Y'all take care.
All right.
All right.